Well, good morning and welcome to a special report on the papal arrival of Pope Francis to Indonesia. And right now, Luisa, we believe that he is arriving in the country, and it is a historic visit, not only for Indonesia, but also for Southeast Asia. I'm Audrey Toyo.
And I'm Luisa Kusnadar. This is our special report for you. We have a number of news prepared for you regarding this visit. Of course, this is a very important visit for all of us Indonesians here, and this is only a part of a big visit from Indonesia. The Pope will also be flying to Papua New Guinea as well as Timor-Leste, and then his last stop will be Singapore. So let's start our special report. This is Pope Francis, Papal Arrival Unity in Indonesia. Now let's start our special report today with a background on this visit. Pope Francis asked pilgrims to pray for this journey to Asia and Oceania, where he will visit Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, East Timor, as well as Singapore.
The pontiff is leaving on Monday for a 12-day trip across the four island nations, covering nearly 33,000 kilometers in what will become the longest journey yet by the now 87-years-old head of the Catholic Church. During his weekly Angelus prayer from St. Peter's Square, the Pope also turned his thoughts to the martyred people of Ukraine, severely hit by the attacks on their energy infrastructure, as well as population in Gaza, where polio is now a health emergency. The Pope also recalled the attack, which took place in Barcelona, Burkina Faso, where hundreds were killed on August 24 by suspected jihadists who opened fire on civil population.
Well, as many as 86,000 Catholics will attend Pope Francis-led Mass at GBK Stadium on Jakarta this Thursday. It is most definitely an exciting event. People have been waiting for months and even years for the Pope to come. So let's take a look at this next report.
Spokesperson for the Committee for Pope Francis' visit to Indonesia, Father Thomas Ulun Ismoyo explained the Grand Mass will be held in two stadiums. GBK Main Stadium with a capacity of 60,000 and the Madya Stadium which can accommodate 26,000. Upon arrival at GBK, Pope Francis will greet attending pilgrims at the two stadiums. The Pope will also lead a worship and join prayer at GBK. Catholic pilgrims who cannot attend the Grand Mass in person at GBK are accommodated with an online broadcast of the service. Thomas urged attending pilgrims to follow the activities in an orderly manner and follow all instructions made by the organizers.
Well, this is a very exciting event that all of us here, not just in Jakarta, but also the whole Indonesia is really looking forward to, especially for the Mass coming up on Thursday. Now, Indonesia hence is stepping up security for Pope Francis' visit this week. His first stop on a 12-day tour of Asia with thousands of officers on standby.
Pope Francis, who is the head of the Catholic Church and sovereign of the Vatican City-State, is scheduled to visit the Indonesian capital of Jakarta from September 3rd to the 5th, before making stops in Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste, and Singapore. This will be the longest trip yet for the 87-year-old Argentinian pontiff, who now regularly uses a wheelchair because of back and knee pain. Indonesia, one of the world's most populous Muslim-majority countries, announced on August 30th it would be deploying tight security measures around the capital to ensure the religious leader is able to travel safely between locations. He will hold a Mass at Gelora Bung Karno Stadium, with more than 80,000 worshippers expected to attend. Brigadier General Cahyono Saputro, head of public relations at the National Police, said the teams have been trained if worst-case scenario occurs from terrorism. Authorities have also set up a coordination team comprising elite presidential security forces the National Counterterrorism Agency, the National Cyber and Crypto Agency, and the Armed Forces.
First time in history, the Pontifical Swiss Guard, the Pope's elite personal protectors, will accompany His Holiness on his visit to Indonesia. Let's take a closer look at the centuries-old, historic, and most unique military unit, as well as their crucial role in ensuring the safety of the Holy Father.
For over 500 years, these elite Swiss soldiers have been protecting the Pope and the Vatican City. Founded in 1506 by Pope Julius II, the Pontifical Swiss Guard is one of the oldest continuously active military units in the world. Known for their colorful uniform and the ceremonial duties, the Swiss Guard also plays a vital role in the security of the Vatican. Their responsibilities including guarding the Pope's residence, escorting him on official visits, and protecting the Apostolic Palace. The Swiss Guard is a highly selective unit, accepting only unmarried Swiss Catholic males between the ages of 19 and 30. Recruits undergo rigorous training, both military and cultural, to prepare them for their unique role. Despite their traditional appearance, the Swiss Guard is equipped with modern weapons and training. Their primary mission is to ensure the safety of the Pope and the Vatican, and they have proven their courage and dedication on the numerous occasions. The Pontifical Swiss Guard is a testament of the enduring power of tradition and the importance of the protecting religious leaders. Their dedication and service continue to inspire millions around the world.
Now next, let's take a brief look at the Pope hometown, which is a very special city, is the Vatican City. The Vatican City is a landlocked city-state surrounded by Rome, Italy. It is the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church, home to the Pope, and a trove of iconic art and architecture. And following, we can take a look, is a brief profile of the Vatican City. Vatican City, which became independent from Italy in 1929 with the Lateran Treaty, is a territory under full ownership, exclusive dominion, and sovereign authority and jurisdiction of the Holy See. With an area of 49 hectares and as of 2023, a population of about 764, Vatican City is the smallest state in the world, both by area and by population. Vatican City is one of the countries in the world without an airport and is served by the airports that serves Rome, the Leonardo da Vinci Fiumicino Airport, and the Ciampino Airport. Due to space limitation, Vatican City is also unable to host embassies and foreign embassies to the Holy See that are located in Rome. As Vatican City is an enclave within Italy, its military defense is provided by the Italian Armed Forces. Vatican City has no armed forces of its own, but it has the Swiss Guard, a military corps of the Holy See that is responsible for the personal security of the Pope and residents in the state. The politics of Vatican City takes place in the context of an absolute elective monarchy and being governed by the Holy See, in which the head of the Catholic Church holds power. The Pope exercises principal legislative, executive, and judicial power over Vatican City, which is a rare case of a non-hereditary monarchy. The term Holy See refers not to the Vatican State, but to the Pope's spiritual and pastoral governance, largely exercised through the Roman Curia, or administrative institution. The Pope's official title with regard to Vatican City is Sovereign of the State of the Vatican City. Vatican City is one of the few widely recognized independent states that has not become a member of the United Nations. Meanwhile, the Holy See has permanent observer status, with all the rights of a full member except for a vote in the UN General Assembly. The Vatican City is home to religious and cultural sites such as St. Peter's Basilica, the Sistine Chapel, the Vatican Apostolic Library, and the Vatican Museums. They feature some of the world's most famous paintings and sculptures. The unique economy of Vatican City is supported financially by donations from Catholic believers, by the sale of postage stamps and souvenirs, fees for admission to museums, and sales of publications. Vatican has no taxes and items are duty-free. Indonesia's relationship with Vatican City and the Holy See has been going on since the Dutch East Indies era. Although most Europeans in Indonesia adhere to Protestantism, Catholicism began to develop in the 19th century. Official relations between Indonesia and Vatican City began in 1950 with the status of Apostolic Internunciature. It was only in December 1965 that this status was changed to Apostolic Nunciature.
Well, Pope Francis' arrival is expected to be happening anytime soon, which is supposed to be around 10:30 until 10:50 a.m. this morning. And what is also striking for me is that the fact that he's using a commercial airplane from Italy to Indonesia, and he will continue to do so from Indonesia later on to Papua New Guinea, and then to Timor-Leste, and finally from Timor-Leste to Singapore, and Singapore back to Italy, all using commercial airplane. And he has journalists even on board on the airplane. I mean, how humble is that? Such a humble action.
Yes, it most definitely shows and amidst the values that he holds very close to him, which is humility. And the airplane, I believe it's ITA Airways from Italy. It's an Alitalia plane. And after that, he brought also 88 journalists coming in from the Vatican and around the world. And I believe, Luisa, coming from Indonesia, to Timor-Leste or Papua New Guinea, he will use an Indonesian carrier.
That's
Am I right?
Yes, and he will be using Garuda Airline for one of his travels in Indonesia, later on to Papua New Guinea. At the moment right now, we are seeing, this is visuals from the airport.
Yes, we are seeing some visuals. We can see there is already a place to land for the Pope. There was a red carpet all put there, and preparations have been set in place. They have been for months. However, now it is the day in which the Pope is on his way. I would say he is just most possibly entering Indonesian airspace, Luisa. He is already there. He is coming very close to Jakarta, and most probably already in Java Island. And it's so interesting to see how this is the first Pope from Buenos Aires, from Argentina, and he is coming in with journalists. He's coming in after 30 years or 35 years of the last Pope John Paul II, or now St. John Paul II, who came in 1989. And so the enthusiasm from the public, Luisa, has been
been building up. I mean, Pope Francis was supposed to come, but then the COVID strike, so he has to postpone his plan to come to Indonesia. And this is a big mission that he's carrying. This is a big sign that, you know, instead of visiting other countries with more Catholics, he instead chose to come to Indonesia with where Catholics are a minority and a country with a big population of Muslims. And he's just trying to tell people that he's the advocate for tolerance, tolerance and also interfaith So that is his mission, to bring peace to the world. Yeah, so this is a very exciting trip that he is finally coming here to Indonesia. And also, speaking of humility, he is also going to stay at the Vatican Embassy instead of the hotel. So that speaks a lot about his character. And I'm sure as a Catholic, you are also very excited about the Pope's visit.
Yes.
How do you feel about it?
I feel incredibly grateful because this is a historic opportunity for, I believe, everyone, not only Catholics, but also people who are who believe in Christianity, but also for Indonesia in general, as any world leader coming into a different country. It's always really exciting to see what they will bring, what new collaborations or conversations will be had. We've had so many, let's say, bilateral visits, Luisa, from presidents, Tanzania, Iran, and so this is quite interesting because he's the leader of Vatican City, which is a state that is admitted as an official state. However, he's also a religious leader, and so I think seeing the dynamics of that and how it can further foster collaboration of interfaith dialogue with our president as well, Joko Widodo, and other leaders of religion in Indonesia will be quite intriguing. Yeah,
of course.
So,
I mean, that is the mission, right?
Yes.
To have these dialogues with leaders, not just President Jokowi, but also leaders of the religions here in Indonesia, especially from the Muslim community. And speaking of the schedule, Pope Francis will be meeting President Joko Widodo tomorrow at Istana Negara, and apart from that, he will also visit the Istiqlal Mosque, and he will also be visiting the cathedral. So he has a very packed schedule for the next 4 days. And of course, one of the things that everyone is looking forward to is the Mass at Gelora Bung Karno at GBK, where there will be approximately 88,000 people attending the Mass, and not just Catholics, but also all the representatives from other religions. So this is something that I'm sure we're all very excited about. And I know that you're also attending the Mass, Audrey?
Yes, I will be planning to attend the Mass on Thursday. It is an ecstatic time for all of us in the community, and also to see a celebration of faith with that big of a scale. I think that will be quite a treat for us too, for Indonesia. And so hopefully things will go well. We've seen, I mean, the office is right across from GBK, and so tomorrow and the days after, I'm sure that we'll see how the traffic will be, how security measurements will be placed, will be plenty. And so we're most definitely looking forward to that, Lisa.
Yes, and TVRI World will definitely give you the full coverage of Pope Francis's visit here in Indonesia until he depart to his next destination, which is the Papua New Guinea. Now let's move on. While we're waiting for more visuals from the airport, let's go to our next news. Speaking of security, the military forces, TNI, and National Police Polri held joint roll call ceremony on Monday to prepare security measures for Pope Francis's visit to Indonesia today, and the 2024 International Sustainability Forum that is also happening on the same week.
The head of the Public Relations Unit for the Special Task Force, Brigadier General Chayono Saputro, said that to prepare the security of Pope Francis's visit and the 2024 International Sustainability Forum in Jakarta, the military forces and national police held a joint roll call at the military forces headquarters in Cilangkap on Monday, September the 2nd. The joint roll call was led by Commander of Mobile Brigadier Corps as the operation head. To secure the Pope's visit and the 2024 ISF, a total of 4,000 personnel will be deployed from the military forces, national police, and Presidential Security Detail or Pas Pampres. The security team will also include officers from National Cyber and Encryption Agency (BSSN), National Counterterrorism Agency (BNPT), National Disaster Mitigation Agency (BNPB), and local administrations. Pope Francis will visit Jakarta from September the 3rd to September the 6th. The Pope's agendas include the official state leader meeting with President Joko Widodo and the Grand Mass at Bung Karno Sport Complex in Senayan, Jakarta on September the 5th.
Well, speaking about Pope Francis coming to Indonesia, one of the important aspects is ensuring that his travel will be smooth sailing until it finishes at the end of this week. And in order to ensure that, the Jakarta Transportation Agency will reroute traffic during the visit of the world's Catholic Church leader, Pope Francis, to Jakarta in between September the 3rd to September the 6th, 2024.
The traffic diversions on Wednesday, September 5th will start at 4 p.m. at the Cathedral. Vehicles from south to east can use the west side of Jalan Tamrin, the west side of Jalan Medan Merdeka Barat, Jalan Majapahit, Jalan Juanda, Jalan Pos, Jalan Gunung Sahari, and so on. Meanwhile, vehicles from east to west can use Jalan Hos Cokroaminoto, Jalan Wahid Hashim, Jalan Mas Mansur, and so on. On Thursday, September 5th, traffic rerouting at Istiqlal Mosque will start at 8:30 a.m. Traffic from south to east will be rerouted to the west side of Jalan Tamrin, the west side of Jalan Merdeka Barat, Jalan Majapahit, Jalan Juanda, Jalan Pos, Jalan Gunung Sahari, and so on. Meanwhile, vehicles from west can use Jalan Hos Cokroaminoto, Jalan Wahid Hashim, Jalan Mas Mansur, and so on. Also on Thursday, September the 5th, the traffic rerouting will be implemented at Bung Karno Sport Complex starting from 3:30 p.m. Vehicles from south to west or north can use Jalan Kiai Maja, Jalan Kebayoran Baru, Jalan Arteri Pondok Indah, making a round at the U-turn in front of Gandaria City, Jalan Tengku Nyak Arif, Jalan Tentara Pelajar, and so on. Meanwhile, vehicles from north to south can use Jalan Medan Merdeka Barat, Jalan Budi Kemuliaan, Jalan Abdul Muiz, Jalan Fahrudin, Jalan Kiai Haji Mas Mansur, Jalan Penjernihan, Jalan Pejompongan, Jalan Tentara Pelajar, Jalan Tengku Nyak Arif, Jalan Kebayoran Baru, Jalan Kiai Maja, Jalan Panglima Polim, and so on. The vehicles from east to west can use Jalan Kapten Tendean, Jalan Walter Mongonsidi, Jalan Trunojoyo, Jalan Kiai Maja, Jalan Kebayoran Baru, Jalan Arteri Pondok Indah, making round at the U-turn in front of Gandaria City, Jalan Tengku Nyak Arif, Jalan Tentara Pelajar, Jalan Es Parman, and so on. Meanwhile, the vehicles from west to east can use Jalan Es Parman, Jalan Pejompongan, Jalan Penjernihan, Jalan RM Margono, Jalan Galunggung, Jalan Dr. Saharjo, Jalan Prof. Dr. Supomo, Jalan MT Haryono, and so on.
Wow, it's going to be a very important week for Indonesia, and an especially busy day on Thursday. And the government has been advising that for those of you who can work from home, do work from home, because it's going to be a very congested day, and hence there will be a lot of traffic rerouting from 8:30 a.m. on Thursday. So please note all the streets that will be rerouted, and just make sure that you are safe. And you can always watch it from television at home, or otherwise, enjoy the mass later on Thursday.
Yes, and due to the excessive capacity of people who also want to attend the Mass, Luisa, they'll be having online masses at churches all over Indonesia and also Jakarta for those who cannot attend, the invited the attendees in the GBK Stadium. And so they'll be having Mass in conjunction with the Pope's Mass. So they'll be live streaming in their own churches and in their own homes. And so we do suggest that if you, especially commuters, can do that, it would be much easier if you would like to prevent being stuck in most of the traffic.
All right, so we are still looking at the visuals from the airport at the moment, and we're still waiting for the arrival of Pope Francis. At the moment, we still haven't seen yet the visuals of the aeroplane, so yes.
Yes, the airplane hangar seems like it is also excited to welcome the Pope, right? I mean, it is the first time it will ever land in Indonesia as well as in Southeast Asia, and also the Pope will be meeting several people, Lisa, other than several leaders and public figures other than those who are in Istana Negara. Of course, he'll be meeting President Joko Widodo. There are also other representatives from Indonesia, such as the Minister of Religion of the Republic of Indonesia, Yakut Cholokomas, as well as the people and representatives, especially for the Holy See, Bapak Michael Trias Kunchayono, and there are several people as well from the Vatican, such as the Cardinal of Jakarta. He is quite renowned, Cardinal Ignatius Suharyo, and other people who are a part of this committee of the Pope's attendance to Indonesia and arrival to Indonesia. And this has been in the works for months, Luisa.
Of course.
Or if not from last year, and I've heard even since the closer to the beginning of the year, when they were just planning of the Pope's coming and arrival, that they were already looking for translators and volunteers and people who are willing to be committees in order to ensure the smoothness of his arrival in Indonesia. So it's quite exciting, and I think to see this much enthusiasm for a world leader to come to Indonesia, it's quite lovely to see, Luisa.
It's very exciting indeed, and of course the preparation has been going on, as you said, if not for months. So we are definitely looking forward for the big mass happening on Thursday. But besides that, we also have other schedules that has been prepared for the Pope's visit. Once again, today, Tuesday, is just the arrival of the Pope Francis's visit, and he will go to the Vatican Embassy, where he will be staying there throughout his visit. On Wednesday, which is tomorrow, the Pope will go to Istana Merdeka, where he will be meeting with President Joko Widodo. After that, he will also go to the Cathedral Church of Santa Maria, as well as Geraha Pemuda. Okay, and on Thursday, the Pope will be visiting the Istiqlal Mosque, as well as in the evening, there will be a big mass, which is going to be held at Gelora Bung Karno in Senayan. And then finally, on Friday, the Pope will go to the Bandara International Soekarno-Hatta. That will be his last day. So a very packed visit for just 4 days.
4 days. It's quite a short visit as well, Luisa, for this Pope in this time, because from the other popes who have visited, he's the third Pope who's visited, they could take the time to go to other places in Indonesia. However, this Pope Francis only focuses on Jakarta and also going to other places of Timor-Leste and Papua New Guinea. And speaking about the agendas that he has for those days in Cathedral, one of the things that he will be doing is also meeting with some bishops, cardinals, nuns, catechists, as well as visitors, in order to talk about some of the bigger things and needs that the Catholic community wants to be discussed. And it's his first time in Cathedral. The church is beautiful. Have you been to Cathedral Jakarta?
Yes, I've been.
Yes?
Yeah, it's such a lovely, lovely church, a lovely cathedral. It's so pretty. Yeah.
It has this majestic Gothic feel about it in some way, and so I'm looking forward to see how he will react and his response to the cathedral. And as he is visiting the Cathedral Jakarta, he will also be visiting the Tunnel of Friendship, Luisa, that connects between the Istiqlal Mosque as well as the Cathedral Jakarta, in order to ensure that there is a sign of interfaith harmony.
I see.
Yes, between
that is
the two
such a good
places.
symbolic, of the Tunnel of Friendship. Did you say?
Yeah.
Okay. And this will be the Pope's first visit to the Istiqlal Mosque. It's such a grandeur mosque.
It is.
So this is
It truly is.
a really, really big symbol of unity and tolerance for the whole world, not just Indonesia. Now, speaking of Pope Francis, we have a number of fun facts about Pope Francis for those of you who are watching and maybe want to know more about this figure of the Pope. Well, Pope Francis is the first Jesuit Pope. He is the first Pope from the Jesuit order, a Catholic religious order known for its commitment to education, social justice, and missionary work. He also is the first Pope from the Americas,
Yes.
specifically from Argentina, and the first non-European Pope in over 1,200 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the Pope that people see as, he brings change to the current world. And also, just a very fun fact here that the Pope loves soccer.
He loves
He loves soccer. So Pope
Wow.
Francis is a big fan of soccer, particularly, of course, he is a supporter of the Argentinian team, San Lorenzo.
Oh.
So there you go.
I mean, he has to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody has to support them.
That's right.
And if they had to support the Pope, I feel like every game is a victory for
Yeah,
them.
a lot of
So,
blessing
a
for
lot-
every
oh,
game
yes.
for the team.
Yes, it's great to see how this Pope is more, I would say, progressive or
Yeah.
relatable to so many issues and so many discussions that needs to be done in the millennial and even Gen Z space, Luisa. There is an encyclical or a document that he published called the Laudato Si that focuses on environmental sustainability.
I see.
Yes,
Okay.
and on seeing the environment, Mother Nature, and things around us, also as part of the people's and communities' commitment to serve God. And so that is quite intriguing to see because we have not encountered this kind of encyclical document from other popes that come before him. And so now having a pope that, although he is nearing his 90s.
Yeah, he's 87 years old
he's-
now.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, that is amazing. He is still as, I would say, keen to learn about these issues that people are going through around the world and also urging people to care for even simple things like the environment.
Of course. And Audrey, just to represent the Catholic community, how do you see Pope Francis? What is his figure like? What is his character like, in your opinion?
Ooh, that's a good question. For, I would say, speaking from my peers and also myself included, he is someone that really emits warmth and deep hospitality for people. One of the aspects that it quite struck me is the fact that he's always willing to welcome children on his stage, because sometimes there's moments where he would sit down and children would just like run up to him in a general audience, which I'm not sure if that's allowed. However, there's never an aspect of arrogance or the fact that he's a world leader to halt him from wanting to serve other people. And I think this connects, Lisa, from what you said by the fact that he is a Jesuit background and how their values are mostly about serving the poor and the marginalized, ensuring that there is no injustices. And so seeing how he truly wants the best for people who tend to be marginalized or invisible or unseen, I could see why he truly cares about people and prioritizes relationship with others. And so for us, at least I'm speaking from millennial / Gen Z, like the younger generation, we quite like him. We like his presence.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, he does, give a big presence for the generation today. He's been, giving a lot of changes and of how people perceive Catholicism too in the world today. Now, just some more information on the Pope. Apparently, he has a very simple lifestyle because even as a Pope, Francis is known for a humble lifestyle. He chose to live in a guest house instead of the luxurious
Wow.
papal apartments, and he often travels in a simple car rather than a limousine. So let's see how is he going to travel in Jakarta. And besides that, he is also known as the champion of the poor. And as you mentioned just now, he was well known for his focus on helping the poor and marginalized, and often speaking out about social justice, economic inequality, and environmental issues. Wow, what a great bio of the Pope. Looking forward to his speech and what message he's going to deliver here to the Indonesian people.
Indeed, Luisa. And with that, in order to ensure the Mass will go as best as possible, the Ministry of Communications and Informatics has prepared telecommunication facilities to hold a smooth Holy Mass led by Pope Francis at Gelora Bung Karno Central Jakarta on this Thursday, upcoming September the 5th.
Communication and Informatics Minister Budi Arya Setiadi said the ministry will facilitate telecommunication services for around 86,000 Catholic congregation who will attend the Holy Mass. The ministry will also provide internet connectivity to support the Holy Mass on Thursday. The government has announced that the apostolic journey of Pope Francis to Indonesia will run from September 3rd until 6, 2024. Apart from the presiding a Holy Mass in Gelora Bung Karno Stadium, Pope Francis is also scheduled to meet with President Joko Widodo at the Presidential Palace, Jakarta, and to attend Indonesia International Sustainability Forum event in Jakarta.
Well, just another quick fun fact before we go on a com break, Audrey. Apparently, the Pope has a significant following on social media. So, are you following the Pope yet?
I am following the Pope, yes.
Well, apparently he has millions of followers on Twitter, and he uses Twitter to share messages of faith, compassion, and hope. So he's a very trendy Pope indeed.
he's on the internet, as they would say. Yes.
Oh, wow.
I don't think he's chronically online though, like most young people. However, he uses it for the good, in order to spread a good message for the people. And we will have more updates on the Pope Francis papal arrival and visit in Indonesia, as well as live updates later on from the field. So stay tuned with us. We'll be back after a short break. Welcome back to our special report on Pope Francis's apostolic visit to Indonesia. We are still excitedly waiting for the arrival of Pope Francis, who is most likely already in Indonesian airspace and will slowly land in Soekarno-Hatta International Airport. As we can see from the visuals before, Luisa, the air hangar is waiting and ready. There are cardinals, bishops, priests, as well as figures and leaders in the airport. I could just imagine the commotion that is happening there. It must be a full house waiting for the arrival of the Pope.
Yes, we're still waiting for the arrival of Pope Francis. It was scheduled to arrive at 10:30, 10:50. So now we're still just waiting here, but we're still going to bring you the live coverage of the arrival of Pope Francis in Jakarta, Indonesia. And speaking of which, one of Pope Francis' schedule coming here to Indonesia is that he also have this organization called Scholas Occurrentes. This Scholas Occurrentes is an international organization that was founded by Pope Francis when he was the Archbishop of Buenos Aires. And basically, this Scholas Occurrentes means schools that meet, all schools of the encounter. And it aims to promote education that foster social integration, peace and cultural exchange among young people across the world, and he's going to also open that Escolas Ocurrentes here in Jakarta in one of his 4 days visit. Yes.
Yes, it is amazing of how we will finally have the official, I would say, like it will be officiated by the Pope himself. The initiative that has been done, as you said, since 2001, so almost 23 years before
23
he
years,
was the Pope.
yes.
And it's in 70 countries, including Indonesia. And so one of the agendas, Luisa, I heard of coming to Indonesia, it's going to Graha Pemuda tomorrow, September the 4th, before he goes to Cathedral. And in Graha Pemuda, what he will do is that first he will officiate the Scholas Ocurrentes, and as well he will be looking and be shown an installation that focuses especially on Indonesia, and I'm guessing also created by Indonesian artists. And so we're quite looking forward to see when the Holy Father sees this installation that has a central theme of Indonesia. And as he is officiating Scholas Ocurrentes, one of the main goals of the school is also to ensure that people have a deep knowledge and deep love for their own culture, for their own diversity, as this school is open to everybody and also would work together, especially with other ministries in education and in technology. And this quite very well reflects the Pope's focus on education as a Jesuit and wanting to further his legacy, not only in the Catholic community or Christian community and space, but also going outside of that and working together with people who also have a passion and have a love for technology and culture. And one interesting fact, Luisa, is that they're also going to release a program called Schola Citizenship. And so for those who are already going through this Scholas Ocurrentes, they can go out into the world and bring this knowledge that they've learned into the bigger society.
And this is definitely a very great opportunity for the younger generation. Just for your information, that this organization is active in many countries, and it has also been working on projects that involve students in activities such as environmental conservation, as well as sports, and also digital literacy. And hence this Scholas Ocurrentes seeks to build a culture of encounter and peace, which is also reflecting Pope Francis's broader mission to promote dialogue and understanding among the diverse communities. And this is definitely going to be one of his biggest legacies, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. For in terms of advancing education, and also education is such a wonderful topic and initiative, because with education it really lifts up people, Luisa, from inequality, right? It gives people the opportunity to be able to push and propel themselves into places that they might not have had the opportunity to. And so with this, hopefully it can also lift up the Indonesian community and Indonesian youth for the future. And yeah.
So very excited for the next 4 days, and especially as we mentioned just now, Thursday is going to be a very important day. One of the main highlights of the Pope's visit here in Jakarta, Indonesia, where he will be holding a big mass at Gelora Bung Karno, Senayan, Jakarta, where there will be an approximate of 88,000 people coming in attending this mass, both from not just Catholics but also from other religions. And also, Audrey, as a Catholic, what do we expect from this mass on Thursday?
From this Thursday's mass, we expect, of course, for it to be a big crowd, colossal amount of people in the stadium. We also expect, hopefully, messages of hope, and one that we all could take home as people of the faith, outside the faith, and Indonesians. And there are several people who are also key leaders who will be there, and so we will most likely hear what they have to say as well with the Pope's coming to Indonesia, and it will be a truly blessed day, I have a feeling.
Of
Yes.
course. And once again, for our audiences watching, please make sure that on Thursday, it will be very congested. So once again, as the government has informed prior that for those of you who can do WFH or work from home, please
Yes.
do so, because there will be a lot of rerouting on the roads in Jakarta, especially around the Senayan area. So there will be, it's going to be a very, very busy day indeed. And speaking of the visit, once again, Indonesia is stepping up the security for Pope Francis's visit again this week, where this will be his first stop on a 12-day tour in Asia, with thousands of officers already on standby. Let's take a further look.
Before making stops in Papua New Guinea, Timor-Leste,
ngomong
and
apa deh.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Tiff, who now regularly uses a wheelchair because of back and knee pain. Indonesia, one of the world's most populous Muslim-majority countries, announced on August 30th it will be deploying tight security measures around the capital to ensure the religious leader is able to travel safely between locations. He will hold a mass at Gelora Bung Karno Stadium, with more than 80,000 worshippers expected to attend. Brigadier General Cahyono Saputro, head of public relations at the National Police, said the teams have been trained if worst-case scenario occurs from terrorism. Authorities have also set up a coordination team comprising elite presidential security forces, the National Counterterrorism Agency, the National Cyber and Crypto Agency, and the Armed Forces.
Well, as the Pope's coming has lots of people excited, there will also be the security for the Pope, or as people would think, it is the Secret Service for the President of the United States. There is also a certain Secret Service, but this time for Pope Francis. They are called the Pontifical Swiss Guards, and they have a truly interesting role as well as lifestyle. For the first time in history, the Pontifical Swiss Guard, the Pope's elite personal protectors, will accompany His Holiness to his visit to Indonesia. Take a closer look at this centuries-old, historic, and most unique military unit and their crucial role in ensuring the safety of the Holy Father. Let's have a look at this next report.
For over 500 years, these elite Swiss soldiers have been protecting the Pope and the Vatican City. Founded in 1506 by Pope Julius II, the Pontifical Swiss Guard is one of the oldest continuously active military units in the world. Known for their colorful uniform and the ceremonial duties, the Swiss Guard also plays a vital role in the security of the Vatican. Their responsibilities including guarding the Pope's residence, escorting him on official visits, and protecting the Apostolic Palace. The Swiss Guard is a highly selective unit, accepting only unmarried Swiss Catholic males between the ages of 19 and 30. Recruits undergo rigorous training, both military and cultural, to prepare them for their unique role. Despite their traditional appearance, the Swiss Guard is equipped with modern weapons and training. Their primary mission is to ensure the safety of the Pope and the Vatican, and they have proven their courage and dedication on the numerous occasions. The Pontifical Swiss Guard is a testament of the enduring power of tradition and the importance of the protecting religious leaders. Their dedication and service continue to inspire millions around the world.
Now, and let's talk about the Vatican City. The Vatican City is a landlocked city-state surrounded by Rome in Italy, and it is the headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. It is a home to the Pope and a trove of iconic art and architecture. And here is now a brief profile of the country. Vatican City, which became independent from Italy in 1929 with the Lateran Treaty, is a territory under full ownership, exclusive dominion, and sovereign authority and jurisdiction of the Holy See. With an area of 49 hectares and as of 2023, a population of about 764, Vatican City is the smallest state in the world, both by area and by population. Vatican City is one of the countries in the world without an airport and is served by the airports that serves Rome, the Leonardo da Vinci Fiumicino Airport, and the Ciampino Airport. Due to space limitation, Vatican City is also unable to host embassies and foreign embassies to the Holy See that are located in Rome. As Vatican City is an enclave within Italy, its military defense is provided by the Italian Armed Forces. Vatican City has no armed forces of its own, but it has the Swiss Guard, a military corps of the Holy See that is responsible for the personal security of the Pope and residents in the state. The politics of Vatican City takes place in the context of an absolute elective monarchy and being governed by the Holy See, in which the head of the Catholic Church holds power. The Pope exercises principal legislative, executive, and judicial power over Vatican City, which is a rare case of a non-hereditary monarchy. The term Holy See refers not to the Vatican State, but to the Pope's spiritual and pastoral governance, largely exercised through the Roman Curia, or administrative institution. The Pope's official title with regard to Vatican City is Sovereign of the State of the Vatican City. Vatican City is one of the few widely recognized independent states that has not become a member of the United Nations. Meanwhile, the Holy See has permanent observer status, with all the rights of a full member except for a vote in the UN General Assembly. The Vatican City is home to religious and cultural sites, such as St. Peter's Basilica, the Sistine Chapel, the Vatican Apostolic Library, and the Vatican Museums. They feature some of the world's most famous paintings and sculptures. The unique economy of Vatican City is supported financially by donations from Catholic believers, by the sale of postage stamps and souvenirs, fees for admission to museums, and sales of publications. Vatican has no taxes and items are duty-free. Indonesia's relationship with Vatican City and the Holy See has been going on since the Dutch East Indies era. Although most Europeans in Indonesia adhere to Protestantism, Catholicism began to develop in the 19th century. Official relations between Indonesia and Vatican City began in 1950 with the status of Apostolic Internunciature. It was only in December 1965 that this status was changed to Apostolic Nunciature.
Well, we can see that even in history from before Pope John Paul II and now Pope Francis, it has been warmly welcomed by leaders of faith in Indonesia. So this is truly wonderful and incredible to see how the same enthusiasm is also shown this time, Luisa.
Well, we are still waiting for the arrival of Pope Francis in Jakarta. That is estimated to arrive at 11:30 a.m. this morning. So until then, let's take a short com break and we'll be back shortly after this break.
Stay tuned. And welcome back to the special report on the apostolic visit of Pope Francis to Indonesia. Still with us, Audrey Utoyo and Luisa Kusnandar. And before, we were discussing about how there are preparations set in place for the Pope and how he is on his way to Indonesia. And as you can see the visual, he has arrived in Bandara Soekarno-Hatta or Soekarno-Hatta International Airport with ITA Airways. This is an Alitalia plane, and he is flying commercial, Luisa, not with a luxurious or a private jet, but commercial, and also taking 88 journalists on the plane with him. And as we can see, the plane is boarding right now. The airplane hangar finally is excited to welcome the plane of Pope Francis.
I can imagine the commotion right there of the anticipation of not just the press, but also perhaps the Catholic community waiting for the Pope. And finally, he is arriving right now at Bandara Soekarno-Hatta. As we can see, the blue plane, the Italy Airways right there. And from here on, it is scheduled that the Pope will go to the Vatican Embassy to rest for the day. We're not sure again what's his details on his visit, but primarily today he will be resting at the Vatican Embassy.
I would figure after a long journey of 15 hours plus from the Vatican here to Indonesia, he would need some time to recuperate, to rest before a full long journey, 2-week trip over Southeast Asia. I would say it is quite ambitious, Luisa, to go to all these places in Southeast Asia at one time. However, we can see that he has a mission to fulfill, and also people in all these places have been enthusiastically awaiting for his arrival.
And once again, the Pope has been applauded of his humility of traveling on a commercial airline with also journalists. Was it 88?
Yes.
Some 80 people on the same airline, all the journalists. And instead of choosing of staying at the hotel, he will be staying at the Vatican Embassy. And from here on, he will be later on, after 4 days in Jakarta, he will travel to Papua New Guinea as well as Timor-Leste and then Singapore, all with commercial airlines.
Yes, and also even the car, Luisa, that he will be utilizing for his transportation will also not be a luxurious, nor is it a bulletproof car, but it will be a simple car or a simple, we do not know the model yet, but it will be a simple transportation, just enough to get him going from one place and to another.
A very exciting trip indeed, and very exciting for everyone here in Jakarta especially. I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of even all the Catholic communities coming in from outside Jakarta, right? Like, it's just a very important event coming up, especially later on Thursday in Gelora Bung Karno. And the Mass at Gelora Bung Karno will likely include prayers for peace, interfaith harmony, and the well-being of the people of Indonesia. As we can see just now, we have some leaders from the Catholic community of the churches waiting for the Pope's arrival. The plane is halting any minute now.
We could see before there was Monsignor Ignatius Suharyo, the Cardinal, and right there in the camera, the Cardinal in red, the Cardinal of Jakarta is waiting the Pope. And there's also Ignatius Johan, who is the former minister and as well now one of the main committees on welcoming the Pope. There is plenty of leaders as well as religious figures who are present, waiting, excitedly waiting for him. And there is also, Luisa, you can see an Italy or the Vatican flag as well as an Indonesia flag right beside each other.
Right there.
Wow.
That is a show of the harmony and of course the interfaith and interrelationship between Indonesia and the Vatican City, where the relationship has been going on for very, very long. As a fun fact, Vatican City is one of the cities that acknowledged Indonesia's independence back in 1947. So yes, we have a very long relationship, strong relationship and a strong bond with the Vatican City. And at the moment, as we speak, we are seeing the hangar being on the way to be connected to the door of the aeroplane. And we have people at the airport right there just preparing for the arrival of Pope Francis to come out from the aeroplane and coming down from the hangar. Right there.
Yes, the stairs that will assist from the airplanes is being moved right now. We can see a great visual of the plane, Ita Airways. Again, it is a commercial plane, not a luxurious or a private jet. And I'm sure that the flight must have been interesting, Luisa, as well, for the people on the flight and the journalists being able to have the opportunity to be on the same board as the Pope and going to Indonesia. And right now, I believe that security measures and protocols are also being enforced in the Soekarno-Hatta airport, as we believe that there are also other airlines coming in for the daily operations. However, with this apostolic visit, I would imagine those who are located in the airport are also busy and halted by this.
And as we can see right there, we have the security ready to welcome the Pope from his long journey all the way from Italy to Indonesia. And we might see a simple welcoming ceremony as the Pope is about to embark on this 4-day trip in Jakarta. And at the moment, we're just waiting for the doors of the airplane to open right at this minute, any second now. And it's just very exciting. I imagine everyone there is really anticipating for this moment. It's such a great honor to finally have the Pope Francis, finally arriving in Indonesia to embark on his 12-day tour in Asia. And this is such an important momentum, having Pope Francis to do this visit and choosing Indonesia as his first destination out of all the Asian countries. He chose Indonesia with a minor Catholic number. He chose this country with a major Muslim community, and this shows his mission of the importance of interfaith and tolerance, as well as unity and peace of the world.
And with only 3% of the population being Catholic in Indonesia, however, reports also said that there is a really strong sense of community for the Catholics. Hence why it is important for Pope Francis to come to a country that is far away, we would say, from the Vatican and from Europe and the Americas, in order for people to other parts of the world to also feel the universal feeling.
We are just looking at the visuals at the moment. The stairs are already attached to the aeroplane, and we are seeing that the leaders of the churches are already waiting by the side of the red carpet and waiting for the Pope Francis to come out of the aeroplane, the ITA Airlines. He's been on a very long journey from Italy all the way to Indonesia as his first visit in Indonesia. This has been very much anticipated. The Pope is supposed to come prior to the COVID pandemic, but it was canceled because of the COVID. And finally, he is here on his first trip in Indonesia. There will be plenty of schedules, plenty of agendas for the next 4 days, including meeting President Joko Widodo at the Merdeka Palace tomorrow, as well as visiting the Istiqlal Mosque and the cathedral in the coming days. We're seeing people coming out of the airplane, and some of them may be from the Vatican, and we will also have journalists. Apparently, the Pope is traveling with some 80 journalists on the same airline, and here you are.
And as people are coming out of the airplane, we can also see some key leaders who are welcoming him, such as Monsignor Cardinal Ignatius Suharyo right there in red, as well as former Minister Pak Ignatius Johan. And he will be having conversations with these leaders as well as other interfaith leaders in the agendas of his visit in Indonesia. And there are also, as we can see right now in the visual, that some of the bishops and cardinals who came with him from Italy are also coming out of the plane, most possibly paving the way before His Holiness will come out of the plane himself and also greet the Indonesian people. And we can see, Luisa, this is also quite a big entourage that he is bringing. Not only that he's bringing journalists, however, his own entourage, his own team, who have been with him and trusted by his team in the Vatican, are also present currently.
Well, this visit is again part of Pope Francis's ongoing efforts to promote interfaith dialogue, as well as addressing social and environmental issues. Pope Francis has mentioned before of his focus in promoting tolerance as well as peace in the world, especially with his concern over the conflicts in Gaza and the war that is happening between Russia and Ukraine.
And it is important to have these dialogues, especially knowing the ongoing crises and problems that are happening in the country as well as around the world. And especially interfaith dialogue and intercultural dialogue is direly needed, Luisa. And with the Pope coming to a country that has a Muslim majority of 87% and just 3% of Catholics in Indonesia, it does show another sign of harmony, unity, and wanting to extend a hand for understanding, wanting to be hand in hand with people of all different types of backgrounds in order to ensure that the sense of unity and peace is always being conveyed.
Once again, we can see that the people are already waiting by the side of the red carpet right there. And we are ready for the arrival of Pope Francis in Bandara Soekarno-Hatta International Airport in Tangerang. Very exciting moment indeed. This visit is once again a big opportunity to foster the dialogue and mutual understanding between different religious communities in Indonesia, as well as promoting peace and tolerance and addressing issues of conflict and advocating for harmony among the many diverse groups in Indonesia. The Pope is also known for addressing social issues such as poverty, inequality, and human rights, which is also a central theme of his papacy. So we will be looking forward to his message, the messages that he will deliver along his visit here in Jakarta. And overall, this visit will promote peace, dialogue, and social justice.
And there he is. That is Pope Francis, and he is coming in from another part of the plane. As usual, leaders would come in from the stairs, would come down from the stairs, and would have the official ceremony. He is coming in from a very protected side, or would say container vessel that was carrying him as he is sitting down in a wheelchair as well, most probably for his own comfort, to not have to go down all those steps. And also, he has arrived.
He's here. Pope Francis, welcome. And we, of course, wish that this trip will not just be a momentous trip, but it will be a beneficial and symbolic.
The Pope is greeting them, giving them kind smiles, and we could see it is quite bright there in the airport. He's greeting one of the key religious leaders in Indonesia, and as well going his way to greet the people and to ensure that there is a good welcome.
We're looking at a photo op right there, and the Pope is all smiles, shaking hands.
He was just greeting the Cardinal Ignacio Suharyo just before that, and also several other cardinals and Pope of the world, Luisa. That is former Minister Ignatius Johan, who is present with the Pope and has been a long-time committee of the Pope's visit to Indonesia.
As we can see right there, the Pope is healthy, he is well, and he is full of smiles, waving at everybody there, greeting the people that has been longing for his arrival here in Jakarta, Indonesia. And the Pope is on his wheelchair because he has an ongoing mobility issues due to his knee problems, Audrey. But despite these challenges, the Pope has continued to do his public engagement and his duties. And right now we are seeing the Pope moving from his wheelchair. He's using a stick and moving to a car. And it's quite amazing, really, this Pope Francis. He's 87 years old, and he's still bracing this long journey all the way to Asia.
Yes, all the way to Asia, Southeast Asia, and we can see that he is entering the vehicle that will transport him right to the Vatican Embassy, right, Risa, right? After this, he will go there most likely in order for him to rest and ensure that there is good preparations before his full visit of Jakarta in the next few days. again, waving and giving a blessing for those in the crowd and those who welcomed him. And we can see his entourage and security measures are extremely tight. Even seeing from the visuals of the camera, we can only see as much because the security and those people who are with him are very much protecting him. And even in Soekarno-Hatta, there are security that is escorting him even after until he goes out into the public. And after this, he is also going to go on the roads. And for those who are also traveling, please be ensured that you might see the Pope when you're on the road, especially if you're close to the Vatican Embassy, which is close to around the South Jakarta and Central Jakarta area. You might just see the car and he might wave hi to you, as he is in a normal car. As we can see, it is wildly and highly protected by the people. Those on its way from Soekarno-Hatta, there are roads that will be closed, several that will be open just for his arrival. And it's quite interesting, Luisa, that he is sitting on the front seat. That was not expected, as usually leaders would like to sit
as a guest, they will sit on the back seat.
Yes. However, it does make it easier for him to say hi to onlookers.
He's very visible.
Yes.
And there you are.
Wow.
Okay, so the whole entourage is guarding him to his way to the Vatican Embassy. And as you said, Audrey, if you happen to be lucky, you might just see a glimpse of Pope Francis.
Yes, he might even wave at you if you're lucky, as they are exiting Soekarno-Hatta International Airport right now, and most likely will be going at a fast speed in order to arrive at the Vatican Embassy. And even the people in front of him and the people after him, Luisa, are guarding with sharp eyes. They are even outside of the vehicle to ensure that the Pope gets there safe and sound. One whole good trip, especially for the Pope, and hopefully that this arrival of Pope Francis will continue to foster a great relationship of Indonesia and the Vatican, and also of Indonesia's Catholic communities, as well as its relationship with other interfaith communities in Indonesia.
And we can see that the Pope is also bracing the heat in Jakarta. So far, his window is still wind down, so he can wave to the public from the car. And we can see he is at the front seat, also waving from the car.
Wow.
Such a sweet gesture, a very kind gesture that he's giving to the public, to the people of Indonesia.
Yes, and it is truly a sign to say that he welcomes Indonesian people as well, and is glad to be welcomed by the people, also showing his own enthusiasm. Luisa, as we can see, it must have been quite a lengthy and a tiring flight. However, he was able to come here with all smiles, warmed, ready to go on about his day, and also execute some of the agendas and discussions that will be done in the next few days.
And that is it. We just watched the arrival of Pope Francis in Bandara Soekarno-Hatta International Airport in Tangerang, Banten. And once again, we'll just inform you of the schedule that the Pope Francis will have for the next few days until Friday, the 6th of September 2024. Today, Pope Francis will go to the Vatican Embassy, where he will be staying there for the next 4 days and 3 nights. He will be resting there throughout the journey. Tomorrow, on Wednesday, 4th of September 2024, there will be a welcoming ceremony for Pope Francis at Istana Merdeka or the Merdeka Palace in Jakarta. The Pope will also meet President Joko Widodo, and followed by more meetings in the evening at Gereja Katedral Santa Maria Diangkat ke Surga. And later on in the evening, the Pope will have a meeting with scholars, kaum muda, at Geraha Pemuda, also in Jakarta. While on Thursday, 5th of September 2024, the Pope will go to Masjid Istiqlal in the morning, and later on in the evening there will be a big mass happening at Gelora Bung Karno, Senayan, Jakarta. While on Friday, that will be a farewell ceremony for the Pope Francis at once again at Bandara Internasional Soekarno-Hatta Airport. So that is it. That is a 4-day plan for Pope Francis in Jakarta.
Well, that is it for today's report on the apostolic visit of Pope Francis, and this is just the first slew of shows that we will do, special reports only on Pope Francis. It is his arrival, but tomorrow we'll be following closely his agenda, as you have mentioned before, in all those locations, meeting all the key leaders in religion as well as culture. And later on, we will also be having a report on his departure on Friday, yes, September the 6th. Well, thank you so much for watching today's report. I'm Audrey Utoyo.
I'm Luisa Kusnandar. Thank you for watching TVRI World, and we'll be back next time with more news on Pope Francis's visit in Jakarta, Indonesia. Bye-bye.
Bye.